3, 2, 1. Glowing Up Latina Season 1, Episode 16.
Woohoo!
Hi, welcome to another episode of Glowing Up Latina.
Hello.
Hey,
I'm Kristina.
I'm Amanda.
And I'm Lyana.
And I'm back. I'm so excited. I was so sad when I missed last week's episode. I was sick, you guys, and it was not fun.
Are you feeling any better?
Yeah, I feel a million times better. But we are still virtual because I am in Texas visiting my family. Yeah. It
so fun.
has been fun. There was storming today, like really quick for like an hour and a half.
And then it was gone?
Yeah, and then it was sunny and hot.
I listened in onto your on your story, your rain ASMR.
Oh yeah, it was heavy.
It was, yeah.
And then it was gone, and then it was nothing. So
I love a good summer thunderstorm. Those are always my favorite.
You know what? I don't like sun showers. I didn't really think that was a thing. And then I got to New York, and there's a lot of sun showers in New York.
It's very weird because it's just like, are you going to be sunny? Are you going to rain? Like, I don't like the in between. It's either you're dark and cloudy or you're sunny and bright. Like, I can't. It's weird. It is weird.
It's also very confusing because you're just walking around and then it starts raining. And you're like, wait a minute, it was a beautiful day 2 seconds ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still a beautiful day, but now it's raining.
I know. My mom used to tell me that when I was younger, she used to tell me like, oh, if it's sunny and raining at the same time, that means a witch is getting married. I'm like, mind you, I'm like 5 years old. And I'm like, there's witches.
My grandma used to tell me when it was thundering that God and the angels were bowling.
Oh no,
that's cute. I like that.
That is cute. That is cute. My grandmother used to be like, "Oh, that's just God crying," and I'm like,
"That's what they used to tell me. The rain was God crying."
Yeah,
the thunder and the rain was like God crying, and I was just like, "Okay, okay."
Yeah, to be honest, my town's in the middle of a drought, so he's not crying a lot over here. It's nice to get the rain. I swear to God, we've been in a drought. I want to say since I was like a senior in high school. So
holy crap,
that's probably not true. But I feel like every summer they're like, we're in a drought, conserve your water. So this week we are actually going to be doing our Father's Day episode because we did our Mother's Day episode, and now here we are in June getting ready for Father's Day. It'll be fun. No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I thought there was more to that, but
yeah, I got distracted.
Yes, it'll be fun, talking about our dads.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see the difference between our Mother's Day episode and this episode.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. I feel like all of our mother relationships were very similar, and we're all like at kind of like the similar place with our moms. Our dad relationship, you guys, they're very different. Each one of us have a different relationship with our dads. So this one it'll still be a good episode. A little more personal on my end. And I think I'm ready for it. Before we get started, you guys, how has y'all's week been? I missed y'all last week. I'm not going to lie, because I wasn't really in the chat too much.
We missed you too.
Yes, we did miss you. It was very weird. We were, I don't want to say we were hanging by a thread. Maybe we were like swinging on a rope. I don't know if that makes sense, but it was weird. But you're back.
I think we're excited. Came out really good. Y'all did a very good job.
Thank you, because we really were just going on a whim.
I don't think we were going out on a whim. I think we had it was structure. There was some structure there. Come on, you got to give us more credit, Lyana.
Sorry.
What else did y'all have going on?
Oh, so for last week's episode, I had at the wedding. I had a great time. Yes. Bride and groom, very beautiful. Everything was lovely. I had the salmon.
Oh, you did?
I had the salmon.
Amanda!
Did I originally order the salmon? Not really. I checked off steak or filet mignon. And when they came around and asked us for our dinner entree, I was like, oh, I got the salmon.
Oh,
because last minute the groom before we saw the bride, we actually saw the groom and just like hung out with him for a little bit, and he was like, oh yeah, what you guys get? And I was like, I got the steak. And he was like, oh, you should have gotten the salmon. I hear like the salmon here is pretty good. And I was just like,
got
so
in
I
your head.
asked, yeah, and he did get in my head. So I was like, no, I'm gonna get the salmon. Salmon was good. So
it was good.
Yes.
Where was the wedding at?
Pennsylvania, in Easton, Pennsylvania. For those of you who live in Pennsylvania and are deciding to have a wedding or do some type of big event, this place was called The View in Easton, Pennsylvania. It was very beautiful. I recommend.
Was it good weather last weekend?
Oh my God, it was so beautiful. She had weather was awesome. Ceremony was around like 5:00 in the evening. So it wasn't hot. There was a nice breeze, everything. The ceremony was beautiful. Short and sweet, straight to the point. Loved it. Like, I think we didn't spend more than like 20 minutes out there. Which
Wow.
Yeah, it was very
so
short.
it was half inside, half out.
Yeah, so ceremony was outside, and then cocktail hour was kind of outside, inside, and then past the cocktail hour room, it was like the main reception area.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about your week, Lyana?
I'm trying to remember what I did. I know on Friday I went to a Justin Bieber concert, and it was really, really fun. He sings so beautiful live. Like, I've seen all the videos like on YouTube and all that stuff, but like actually seeing him in person and hearing him sing, I was like, oh God, he almost made me cry like once. But yeah, it was really fun. I bought those tickets like a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they kept moving because of COVID. And then we finally were able to see him on Friday. So that was really cool.
What was your favorite song that he played?
Oh, Peaches. Peaches is my favorite song on that album. It's like, oh my God, I am obsessed with that song. It's so good. I love it.
I have a favorite Justin Bieber.
I have one.
Like I did.
What's your favorite?
You?
Yeah, but I think it's with DJ Snake, Let Me Love You.
Oh, that's a nice song. Yeah.
I love that song.
Oh, yeah, I remember that song.
Oh, damn. I had the rhythm and then I lost it.
Yeah. Love you.
Oh, I do know that song. Yes.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Okay, the song I always think of when I think of Justin Bieber is a Boyfriend.
He performed that song.
He did.
He did.
Oh my God. There was one point he took his shirt off. I was like, Lord. Lord.
I don't know.
I couldn't react too much though, because like Nora was right there, but my God.
No, Boyfriend came out my senior year of high school. And I remember it was a really big deal because it was like his new air.
Yeah.
And like the video drop was a very big deal.
It was a big
deal,
I remember.
I think he was like fresh off like a breakup with Selena Gomez. And then the girl in the video, everybody was like, oh my God, she looks like Selena Gomez. Like, I remember it being such a big thing on Tumblr, so throwback to Tumblr. And also, like, all of my friends, I remember watching it with my best friend in high school, and we were just like, oh my God, we love this song. It's so funny. I love Justin Bieber just for the nostalgia factor at this point.
Yeah. It's so good. He sang, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, I like him better now. I don't know. I
do like more of his songs now.
Yeah, I like him better now. I wasn't a big fan of him like when we were younger. I think the one song with Ludacris,
Baby.
That one I liked. I liked that one. He
performed that song and I lost my mind. I knew every word to Ludacris's part. I was there. I was in there.
I would have
won. Who also has a song with Ludacris?
Fergie.
Jesse McCartney.
Oh, not the person I was thinking of.
Yes.
How You Sleep, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
I used to love that song.
I loved it. Listen, and whatever happened to Jesse McCartney?
He still like does things like at small like colleges and stuff. Oh. He's pretty active on TikTok.
I'm gonna have to find him on Instagram because I love Jesse McCartney. Not him.
Beautiful Soul. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So good.
We're going to keep getting distracted though, so I guess we should probably get into it. So, you guys, what do you think of when you think of your dad?
So my dad, I love him. I mean, obviously, but my dad can be a cornball, and then he can be like, I don't want to say Jekyll and Hyde, but I've seen it happen where he's just very, again, like wishy-washy. It's like he can get upset at things, but like he lets it, he forgets about it like 2 seconds later. So he doesn't carry, I do appreciate that about my dad. He doesn't carry like resentment,
Mm.
if that makes sense. But yeah, the man is all over the place, but I love him.
I think for me, I definitely think of someone who is very hardworking and someone who is very good at hiding his emotions for sure. And yeah, my dad is the type of person who, like, if he can help you out, he will help you out, regardless if it doesn't help him out in the end, which is something I learned from him, something really nice. So, yeah. What about you, Kristina?
I think baseball, when I think of my dad, really. My dad played baseball or softball growing up. He played baseball like in high school and stuff, but when he got older, he played like on a co-ed softball league.
Mhm.
So we used to go to out of town for like tournaments and stuff.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I remember those really well.
Well, that's
And I
really
guess this is
cool.
it was fun. Yeah, I made a lot of really good friends out at the ballpark. But what are y'all's relationships with y'all's dad like?
I have okay, so compared to Amanda and Christina, I have a better relationship with my dad. I am trying to be better at calling him every day. I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it, but I'll talk about it now. There was one point, it happened like 2 months ago, I think, that my dad got into a car accident, and he had to go to the doctor and everything. So, for those who don't know, my dad he drives trucks. I don't know that he drives buses. I don't know how to explain it.
He works for a transportation service, but his vehicle that he operates is a bus.
Yes, it's not like the MTA or anything. It's specifically for like elder senior citizens who have to
Oh,
Accessor
what is
ride.
it called? Accessoride, yes.
yeah. So my dad drives those buses, and he was working and he got hit from behind, from a driver who wasn't really paying attention and all that stuff. And it was really hard for me. I cried like hours after that because that accident could have been so much worse and it wasn't. And so I'm trying hard to call my dad every day and try to check up on him and see how he's doing and all that stuff, just to like build a better relationship than what I used to have growing up. Not that it was bad. It was just very like, hey dad, how's it going? Good. And that's it.
Was it like,
So
would you describe it as like arm's length?
kind of, yeah, but not in a bad way. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I was naturally closer to my mom growing up. So, but now I'm trying to build a relationship with both of them as I'm older. So,
If you're arm's length, then I don't know what I am. Yeah. How about you, Kristina?
Well, if Amanda doesn't, if Amanda doesn't know what she is, then I'm on another planet.
Guys, come on. Come on, give me something.
I guess I'll say this. My dad is incarcerated. He has been, we're going on 10 years now. Before that, he was in and out when I was growing up. So we, by, I don't just circumstance, I guess, weren't close. Growing up, I was close with my dad. Everybody describes me as a daddy's girl growing up. But, people make their choices, and his choices have led to our relationship being, until recently, I guess I didn't realize you classify it as estranged. I never really knew what that meant.
Same. I
When
don't know how to use it.
yeah, how to use that word, right?
Yeah.
I hear people describe their relationships with people like that, like their parents or other family members. But until recently, I never realized that, yeah, my relationship with my dad is estranged. I guess that's how you say it.
That's such an interesting word to use. It's not a bad word. It's just like, like I never like had that perspective, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will say I love my dad very much. And I will say that I do hope to be in a place where our relationship is not estranged at some point. But there are a lot of things about our relationship that I have had to work out. And until I work them out for myself, then I'm not in a place to have that relationship. But one day, maybe I will be. We'll see. I know one time on the podcast, I think for our Mother's Day episode, I mentioned that if I could change anything like about my family, I wouldn't. And afterwards, because I think about everything that I say for years and years and years, afterwards, I was like, people could have misconstrued that as me saying like I would just never want my dad around. And that's not what it was. It was just that if this is the way like our family unit has to be, then I won't change anything about that. I would love to have my dad around, and I would love to have a relationship with my dad. It hasn't worked out so far. It's always weird because I have people who will be like, oh, I can never not talk to my dad. And in all sincerity and in all like not meanness, I love that for you. I love that you've never been put in a position where you have to think about not talking to one of your parents or somebody that you care about a lot. That is fantastic. I would never want that for anybody. But the decision not to talk to my dad is very personal, and it is something that I struggle with because it's a parent. Half of the reason that I am on this earth is because of this person. So, but with that being said, there are like, this episode is not going to be a total downer, you guys. No. Great things I can say about my dad, but I'm also not going to sugarcoat any of it. And anybody who knows me knows kind of the journey that I've taken with my dad and how we got to the place that we are. And I will be as open and honest about that as I can be, as I will allow myself to be without, I can feel myself turning red right now. But what about you, Amanda?
My relationship with my dad. I love my dad. I feel like we're close, but we could definitely be closer. When my parents split up, and during that time at the beginning, like I made an effort to reach out to him a lot, call, text him. And, again, I care for him. I love him. Why else would I, do all of that to continue to keep my relationship going, right? But I also felt like there was a point where I was doing a lot of the work and there was no reciprocation. So I kind of stepped back a little bit. I don't want to say it was tough love, but I also wanted him to understand, like, you got to meet me halfway, sir. Like, I know you love me, so let's try to show that a little bit more. Let's work a little bit harder and communicate. Like, I didn't always want to be the one to like reach out first. So, yes. But the other day he gave me a call, which I was very surprised. And I was supposed to call him back and I didn't. So I did not. Yes, I know. And he knows that I'm busy. But like I was just like, just call. I don't care. Just call. Text me. Just be like, hey, are you free? Just let me know and we'll talk. But I would say we have a pretty decent relationship because I know if something were to happen to me and if I were to give him a call, he'd be there like in a heartbeat. So one day at a time, you guys, with him and I. And like you said earlier, I would say his side of the family, like they kind of like saw me as a daddy's girl. Because I always used to be like, oh, my daddy this, my daddy that. And they would, like everybody in my cousins would refer to their dad as like papa or papi. Like I never used those words. Like it was always like daddy. And they were like, oh, her daddy. And they used to like mimic me. And I'm like, yes, that's my dad. I think we were like, we were really close then. because he used to take care of me while my mom was at work. And like, his work hours were a little bit different from hers. So I spent most of my time with him in my younger years or my childhood years. And then things change. But we're working on it, you guys.
I can get that. I get the feeling like you're putting in more work than you were getting.
Yeah.
That was always a thing with my dad and I even as a child, I was just like, this person should be calling me, should be reaching out to me. And at some point I was just like, okay, well, I've done what I could. And this is where I got to stop for now. And like I said, one day, maybe I'll pick it up again. Not maybe, I will at one point pick it up again because I want to. I just need to be in a space where I can do that for myself.
100%. When you're at peace with yourself, you can be at peace with him, and then everything will start to flow. It's not like pick up the phone and everything's back to normal. It's like, in increments. So I get that too.
It's work trying to have relationships with your parents as adults.
It is.
You're all navigating new space.
Yes.
But what are some qualities that you guys love about your dads?
So I think I've mentioned this before, but I think my dad's that type of person that he will, help whoever, however he can, and not really like give a second thought about it. And I see that, even with me and my brothers, when, my brothers were in baseball, my dad was always there to take them to baseball practice, pick them up from baseball practice. And then when I was younger, I would go to these like talent auditions to like see if I could become a singer or the next Adele, and he would always take me there and he would always bring me back. And at that point we didn't have a car. So he would take the entire journey from Manhattan, New York, all the way to like the middle of nowhere, New Jersey, and take me all the way back. So that's what I love about my dad. Like he'll do whatever to kind of be there for you. So yeah.
Yeah, I could piggyback on that too. Like my dad definitely at one point he was like the go-to person for either with like his nieces, his brothers and sisters, or just like friends he had would, ask him for help and he'd just do it with no question. And my grandfather was like that too. I never got to meet my grandfather because he passed away way before I was even born or even a thought. But from what a lot of family members say that, my grandfather was a very, he never like denied being a helping hand. And my dad took that from him. It's hard not to love that man. It really is. Yeah.
So I'm realizing in doing this episode that I know an old version of my dad. So the things that I love about him come from that version of him. I've come to realize that, I've spoken to my dad a handful of times in the last 10 years. And so the person that he is now, and obviously the person that I am now, not as a child, are different people. But from what I remember of my dad, I remember him being very funny and thoughtful and kind. And my dad always had this way of like making me feel loved when I was with him and when our relationship was good. I think if there's like one thing that I want people to maybe take away from this episode is that it's hard having a parent that's incarcerated. I think people like to think about it in a vacuum, that the person who is incarcerated is having to deal with being in prison and going through that alone, because I can only imagine how lonely it gets dealing with something like that. But it's not just my dad who deals with that. It's everybody out here who cares about him that deals with that and carries that weight. And my dad's and I's relationship, it's not bad because he's incarcerated. That's not the reason. There were other reasons, and then he ended up in prison. But the version of my dad that I remember, was a good person, a very good heart when he chose to to be a good dad. He had a very good heart, and I loved him for that. I think that's why I was a daddy's girl growing up.
So I think it's like, I like to think it's healthy for you that you keep those nice memories of him, like those, even though they're old memories and those are your early memories of him, you keeping that with you. I think, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I feel like it's healthy that you keep those good memories with you. Because it reminds you that we did have good moments. We did have, we made memorable moments. And you can look back at that and know that, yes, I did have something special with my dad.
And so I think sometimes I focus on the bad so much, but there were good parts of him that I did love. And not talking to him is something that I've struggled with. My family hasn't always agreed with me on it. I think everybody's pretty much supportive of me now, but it wasn't always like that. It was like, oh, that's your dad. You should talk to him. That's your, he's your dad. You should love him. And by not talking to him, I'm not saying I don't love him. I love myself enough to not get half of a person or to get scraps from a person, basically. So, I think I really, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I really held my foot down. And, at some point, everybody else had to just jump on board with me. And so he has some very good qualities to him. I mean, he has to a little bit. He made me.
Right. So. That's what I said too. There has to be something special about you, because or else, like, why? How am I even here?
The lesson that I've really taken away from my relationship with my dad is I've had to learn how to walk away from relationships that aren't serving me. From, because people tell you to love your parents. I mean, it's in the freaking Bible, honor thy mother and thy father. And you grow up, everybody telling you, you have to respect your parents. You have to respect your parents. But in having my relationship with my dad, I've learned that if somebody is not respecting me, I don't have to respect anybody who doesn't respect me. And honestly, I feel like that's been such an important lesson for me, because it's made it so much easier for me to walk away from people who are disrespectful of me or my time, who don't treat me right. It's taken me a while to get here, because of course it took me a while to really put my foot down with my own dad. But once I learned how to do that, it was really easy to kind of take in a relationship that I had with someone and really think about whether, okay, this person isn't treating me right. Do I want to continue to let them not treat me right, or do I want to be done with them? And maybe either talk it out or just truly be done. And is it the way that I wanted to learn that lesson? Not necessarily, but we learned it that way. And so it is what it is, I think that's, if I could emphasize one thing, is that I take all of this and it is what it is. This is the path. This is the journey that I was meant to be on. This is the way that my life was meant to unfold out. But it also makes it even more special that my mom and I have a really great relationship. I can appreciate that a little more than maybe I would have if I took both my parents for granted. So
true. I
what about you guys?
A lesson I learned. So mostly our relationship has taught me that expressing our emotions and our thoughts, saying what we're feeling, is essential in order to have a healthy father-daughter relationship. Because again, I can sit here and tell you all the ways how much I love my father, and my father can say the same exact thing, but can we say it to each other? I think sometimes that's where it's very hard for us to do that. again, I know the man loves me, but like, I think, but because of that, like, I've learned to express my emotions with my mom, with Constantine, with you guys, because that's how you keep healthy relationships, right? And I think like with my dad, I think there are things that still need to be addressed since like my parents' separation. And I'm trying to also learn how to like choose the right words because I know my father's a very sentimental man. And I think, choosing the incorrect words is just going to set the man off. So that's why there are times where I have to tell him like, Stan, like, I want you to listen. This is not to come off as rude or I don't respect you, but you need to know something, and I love you, but you need to know where I'm coming from. And I've gotten better with that. I don't know where I grew the cojones to do it, but I have gotten better with it. Also because like I just don't want us to have like a distant relationship, even though sometimes it feels that way, but it has taught me that we need to express, what the other one's feeling more often. And we need phone calls for that. So yeah.
My favorite is always, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but and then whatever I have to say next become my new favorite.
Bouncing off of what you said, Amanda, about how like saying I love you to like your dad and your dad saying it back and not saying it to each other. Mm-hmm. This is going to sound so bad, but I promise you guys it's not that terrible. So my brothers and I have this thing, or like, I don't know, this count. I don't know how you want to call it, but we always say I love you to my dad, and we always tally if he says it back to us or if he doesn't say it back to us. There are times where he says it back to us and we look at each other and we're just like, we fucking got it. And we get so happy. And then there are times where he doesn't say it and we're just like, it's okay, we got him next time. We will get him next time. But I think the biggest lesson that my dad has taught me, and it's not directly, but mostly like indirectly, like from the things that I've observed and like seen from both my parents, is just that relationships are hard work. And both people have to put in the work to make it worthwhile and last and all that stuff. It's not enough to just say I love you. You have to do more than that. You have to have acts of kindness, acts of service, or whatever it is that love language is. And he also taught me that, you're not right all of the time. And that's it. You're just not right all the time. And I try to think about that whenever Norn and I are arguing and all that stuff. And I'm just like, maybe I'm wrong, or maybe he's the one that's wrong this time. But I always try to play it out in perspective, because my parents have a good relationship, but it's just like the way that I've seen it growing up is just,
yeah. Have you I'm learning.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen them grow as a couple together, and well, that's what it is. When you're married, you take on new challenges, new obstacles, hurdles. So right, you saw how your parents like go through those hurdles, but they made it out together, and they continue to make it out together. Exactly. So, girl, that's a marriage. That's just marriage.
I don't know how. I thought I was going to be saying it bad, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm saying right now.
I reeled you back in. It's okay.
I appreciate you. Yeah. But yeah, that would be like the biggest lesson that I've learned from my dad.
Nice.
Lyana, I don't think what you were saying was bad at all. It kind of sounds like you're saying, which I feel like is true for everybody, is that you're learning the things you do and do not want to do. And I feel like that's all we learn from our parents. We watch them and see, oh, I like that. I don't like that. Let me try something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also, like, it goes to show you, like, you're always learning. And especially, like, in a relationship, You have to learn how to jump over those hurdles together. And you learn that through them. So now you know how to approach maybe a similar situation that you saw your parents go through, and you know how to approach that with with Norin.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there's just like generally there's just like a stigma that like or a belief that our parents' relationships can do no wrong, at least the way that I was
Mhm.
brought up kind of
Mhm.
thing.
Mhm.
Like, because my mom always tells me, like, whatever stays in the house behind those
Right.
four walls. So it's just
Right.
kind of like, yes, but also like those things are things that I, need to work on, like in every relationship that I have,
Mhm.
not just the one that I have with Norin, all of them. And it applies to every relationship that I have,
Right.
so yeah. J- Relationships are hard work, man. Friendships, romantic relationships, all of them. They're all hard work and it's
No.
tiring.
Latinx people are real big on the what happens in the house stays in the house.
Oh,
Yeah,
big
so I
on
guess
it.
that's why I was struggling a little bit just because of like that. Because like I don't want to say anything wrong, but it's also not
Again,
not wrong.
finding the right words
It's just
Mhm.
and
it's
not coming
weird.
off disrespectful, but
Yeah. It's hard. No, this and I was just saying that this episode, like it's hard for me as well. Like I don't want to piss anybody off. I don't want to upset anybody or hurt anybody's feelings, but at the same time, I have to say what my truth is. And that's
right.
the only thing that I can say.
Yep.
And
Right.
at
Like,
the end of the day, I have to be able to like be okay with myself. So
mhm,
putting my story, my truth out there, my version of it, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's my version of everything that happened.
right.
Yep.
And I gotta say, I'm sticking with my version.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
the only version you know.
Uh,
Exactly.
it's not always rainbows and butterflies, Maybe it seemed that way when we had the Mother's Day episode, but it goes to show we have real and different relationships with our dads,
Yep.
and we're working on them. It's not like we're just like turning the other cheek. We're just trying to navigate our way through that relationship.
Yep.
So, yeah. So to add on to my dad's wishy-washiness, I know the one thing I know he's not wishy-washy about is his unconditional love for me. Like I said, the man could drop anything and just like help me out if I needed, his help, or just needed to talk to him. He's a man of few words, but like again, I say like maybe it's hard for him to express that and like show affection. And I think it just goes back to like his upbringing. And I say this not disrespectfully, but you know, I think he's also trying to learn how to show love and affection because, how can someone give that love and, or express love and care if they hardly saw it, growing up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I think my dad did all that he could, like while I was growing up, to be there for me, you know. So that's why I say, like, I know the man loves me unconditionally, and I love that about him. And I'm his first and eldest and only daughter because I have my two brothers. And I want to say, like, whenever he refers to me, he doesn't refer to me as Amanda. So if he's talking to my uncles, or if he's talking to like his mom, my grandmother, his brothers and sisters, it's never Amanda. It's always Amandita. Always. And I think that's just because I think saying Amanda is so strong for him because it's just like recognizing like Amanda is an adult. She's a woman and she's like made herself. I think he likes to see me as Amandita, like my only child, my only little girl, you know, I think sometimes he looks at me like I'm still his little girl. So referring to me as Amanda is never, I never hear Amanda. It's always Amandita. And whenever, like, if my parents, are on the phone or something, or whatever the case may be that they need to talk, it's always like, how's my daughter? Like, not how's our daughter, it's how's my daughter? How's my daughter doing? Is she okay? Like, my mom had told me, she spoke to him a few days ago, and she was like, yeah, your dad asked about you. And he was like, how's my daughter? How's she doing? Is she okay? How do you see her? Is she stressed out about the wedding? I know she's busy, but, make sure she's just not stressed out. It's okay. And my mom's just like, you could pick up the phone and you can tell her yourself. It's fine. But yeah, it's little things like that I told you it's hard to not love that man.
Yeah. I don't want it to get lost in this episode. I'm aware my dad loves me. I know that he loves me. He loves me in the way that he can. It just, wasn't compatible with what I needed growing up. And I think when I see him doing the work, that's when our relationship will begin to heal. Because I mentioned, and even in the Mother's Day episode, my mom's and I's relationship didn't start out super, super strong. I was kind of a bratty teenager. It was a little troublesome. Stressful for mother-daughter relationship. But, we got back to where we needed to be. I came around that dark side of the moon. And now here we are, back and better than ever. But, it's not lost on me all the things that I miss out on by not like having my dad around, or by not having him in my life, even by not having him like with me in the world. And so I've had to learn how to let some things go, to readjust my expectations. Like, for instance, it's not lost on me that one day when I get married, I won't have my dad to walk me down the aisle. But that doesn't mean I'll be walking down the aisle on my own.
Right.
I have my mom, I have my brothers. I guess it's another lesson I could add. He's been a great lesson of loving from a distance. Because sometimes it's too much to love somebody, like be in their orbit, be in their lives and love them. Sometimes it's too much. Sometimes I can't deal with it. So loving from a distance has been where I've had to be for the past couple of years, because we have tried to talk and, have a relationship, and sometimes it goes really well. And then I was always the one getting hurt in the end. So, and I didn't want to be hurt in the end anymore. So I was like, you know what, let me remove myself, figure out what I got to do to be okay in this relationship. If he wants to take that time to figure out what he's got to do, and then we come back and it works out, that's beautiful. But, we'll see where it goes. I have plenty of life left. And who knows what will happen. But what is one, like, really good memory that you guys have with your dads?
I want to say the man made sure, like, we had family vacations every summer. And although my mom had to do all the planning, my dad was still very big on, no, we need to take time out of, meaning him and my mom, they made sure to take time out of their schedules, out of their work schedule to, have quality family time, go on vacations. And we've been like almost practically up and down the East Coast. We used to do like road trips, just driving. And I appreciate those times, because that's when I really got to also like spend more time with my dad, because he was always working. And yes, our family vacations. And then also, he used to take me to the mall. And this is like years ago. It's not even there anymore. But the mall here in Brooklyn, there used to be a carousel right like smack middle in the middle of the mall on the first floor. And before we would do anything, like look at the stores or whatever, he'd be like, okay, you want to get on the horsies? And I'd get on the carousel. He'd get on with me, and that would be like the first thing we would do is get on the carousel. And then there was a cookie shop. It's called the Cookie House. That's still there. We'd go like straight to the cookie house and like buy, our favorite cookies and, walk around and eat them. They're a lot of like childhood memories I have, and they're very vivid. They're still like very much there. My Christmas gifts he never failed to get me like the best Christmas gift. I always remember like I got a Hotel Barbie house. He got me my laptop, my Game Boys. Like my dad tried to make sure I had a smile on my face all the time. Which I tell you, my mom hates when I smile, because not that she hates it, but she's like, you look like your dad. Stop cheesing so hard. I'm like, stop, leave me and my smile alone. But yeah, those are things that I cherish. And sorry, I forgot. There's one more thing too. There was a summer where I was with my grandmother, and when I got back, my dad, like, he redecorated my entire room. He moved the bed around, like he just redid my entire room. And I was just so surprised that he did that, and 'cause he didn't have to, or maybe he wanted to, I don't know, but he did, and I appreciated it. He may not say it, but his actions say it. Again, man, a few words, but he tries to. He tries to. He does. But yeah.
I think I have two. One actually is not technically a memory. It's like a story that I've been told forever. And then one is like legit, it's my memory. When I think it was like maybe my first Christmas or second Christmas. It had to be like a second or third Christmas type of deal. Or maybe it was like a birthday. I can't remember too well. Look how well my memory comes back to me. I had a Barbie Jeep growing up.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Me too.
What color was it?
It was pink.
All the details. I need all the details.
It was pink, and it had like the little, like it legit, like it was like a Jeep. Like it had like the little like headlight stickers and everything.
Oh my God.
Yes. And I guess apparently like my dad really wanted to get it for me. So, and he wanted to have it ready for like Christmas morning or like my birthday, whatever it was that he wanted to give it to me for. So he's like at my great grandma's house trying to put it together. And I guess he's like having trouble. And my great grandpa keeps going back and is like, Mijo, do you need any help? Is everything okay? Like, let me help you. Just let me help you. And he's like, Grandpa, I got it. I can do it. And apparently he was like back there for a minute, like trying to put this Jeep together, but he got it put together. And I remember freaking loving that thing. Like I was always in it. And we used to like not live far from my great grandparents. So I would like make my mom and my dad walk with me while I drove the Jeep to my great grandparents' house.
Nice.
So
got my Barbie keys.
Right
to there.
Ready to go.
Hop in.
Ready to go, you guys. And then I was in high school and I was trying out for the dance team. I think this was the second year that I was trying out. And you went to like camp, like a day camp or like camp after school. I can't remember how long it was. And you had to learn all the dances so that you could try out for the dance team. So then I come out of my tryout, and because like you went in like small groups to perform the dance that you had just learned. And when I came out, my dad was outside with flowers. And I was like so excited because I didn't even know he knew that like I was trying out for the dance team, and I was so happy. I was like, oh my gosh. I just thought it was like the best thing in the whole entire world. So yeah, those are mine. Barbie Jeep and flowers.
Yeah. I had a Barbie Jeep too. He got me a Barbie Jeep. Things. Yeah, he got me a Barbie Jeep and the tricycle. He got me that. Yeah, those were like cool gifts. Mind you, like the Jeep never came out of this apartment though. Like it was always in my room. Never. I don't even remember like going outside and using the Jeep. It was
Imagine carrying that thing downstairs.
I think my mom was like, "No, I'm not about it." She would look at me like, "Don't even think about asking me. Don't even think about it, Amanda. No, it stays in your room. No." Yeah.
Oh my God.
That was the difference between my mom and my dad. Because I'd be like, "Please," and be like, "Okay, fine." But with her, I'd be like, "Please, no." Yeah. So, yeah. I know who to. Yeah, I knew who to go to about certain things.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, with my dad, it was always like, please, like, please. And he was like, okay. And my mom would be like, please, ... question mark.
Yes, please. Oh man.
Okay, so I also have two, and they're both when I was really young. So the first one that comes to mind is when I was in the 5th grade, and I was part of the international dance club, and it was time for our like performance to like our concert day was coming up, and each group had to learn like their traditional dances. So for the Dominican Republic, we were learning merengue. Mind you, I was 9, did not know a single thing about what merengue was, what kind of music it was. And so, real shy, I go up to my dad. I'm like, Dad, I'm part of this international dance club, and I need you to teach me because I don't know how to dance. And he was like, okay, fine. So he put on some music, and he told me to put my feet on top of his feet. And he taught me how to dance merengue, and he taught me how to dance bachata and all that stuff. So that was really nice. That was really cool. I was like, oh, that's really nice. And thinking about it now, I'm just like, he didn't have to do that. He could have just told me to get a broom. And then the second thing that comes to mind is also when I was young. I don't remember how old I was though. I would always try to get into baseball with my dad because I knew he loved baseball, but I just, for the life of me, I just can't get on board. Baseball and me are just not my thing. We're just not compatible. And so, but I was at an age where I was really trying to impress my dad because I wanted to have a closer relationship with him. And so I asked him one day, I was like, oh, wow, like what's that song that they sing at the baseball field? Like, take me out to the ball game. I didn't know the words. So I was like, can you teach me the words to that one? And he like literally sang me the whole song. And I was like, cool. And then we sang it together after that. I was like, oh, this is so nice.
Oh, that is so cute.
Still don't like baseball though, so I don't know how much.
Oh, you guys, we made it through the Father's Day episode.
We did.
Yay.
You can't tell, but I feel the heat on my face. I actually have our first correction to issue on the podcast. 2 episodes ago, I told you guys that the first time I ever went to the beach was in New York. I have since learned that is incorrect. We went to Disney World when I was like 12 that summer, and my mom was telling me that we stayed at a hotel and we went to the beach in Florida for a couple of days. Yeah, and apparently we saw a ton of baby sea turtles be hatched, like a once in a lifetime thing. I have no recollection of it. None.
Did your mom take any pictures?
Yeah.
She was like, we were too mesmerized. Like didn't even remember to take pictures. And so, yeah. Wow. So I've been to a beach. I was at the beach in Florida before I ever set foot on a New York beach.
Wow.
I'm sure it was cleaner and prettier than New York beaches.
I'm sure it was magical and I can't recall. There we go. Fantastic.
Love it. Gotta love it.
Lyana, when can the people find us?
You guys can catch us here every Wednesdays, wherever you listen to your podcasts, and leave us glowing reviews because we love to hear from you guys. Let us know.
And then you guys can also find us on our Instagram page at Glowing Up Latina. Continue to like our posts, comment on our posts, love our stories. And you can send us or let us know how you're glowing up this week at glowinguplatina@gmail.com.
And lastly, you guys, we just want to wish all the dads out there happy Father's Day. And we hope that you guys have a great day and you get to spend it with your family.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
And until next week, keep glowing, mija.